Welcome to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show, a real estate investment program. Listen and learn how to use real estate to build wealth and passive income streams for you and your family. We bring you experts every day to discuss and answer your questions on everything from single-family homes all the way up to 600-plus unit apartment complexes. And now, the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show.
Welcome to the show. My name is Al Gordon, and as always, we're working on your financial freedom. On today's show, I have a very special guest. This is a young man. Well, he's young relative to me, but this is a young man who has taken the real estate business by storm. He really has. I mean, his story is one you want to listen to, and there's several reasons for it. First of all, you need to understand his family dynamic. You have to understand why Chris does everything that he does. He does it for his family. You also have to understand that Chris did everything society told him to do. I mean, he went to school, got good grades, got out of college, went to work in the supply chain of business, okay, which, to be honest with you, is a very, very intense realm. It's a very intense realm where, you know, for the most part, your entire life is at the beck and call of the person you work for and all the people you're supporting in the logistics world. Well, Chris didn't stop there. I mean, he started moving up the food chain. He started stepping up the ladder. But at a certain point, Chris said, you know what? Something's not working. Something is not working. Now, he had always had an interest in real estate investment. He's always had that interest, but he really didn't know how to do it. And he really didn't have anybody that could show him the ropes. Well, about that time, Chris became a member of Lifestyles Unlimited. And that was 10 years ago. So back 10 years ago, Chris made an informed decision to change his life. So I'm going to bring Chris on the show right now. We're going to get into his background, and then we're going to get into the magnificence of what he has done to strategically and operationally, as well as tactically, change his entire life. Chris, I want to welcome you to the show. How you doing today?
I'm doing great, Al. Thanks for the introduction.
Oh, it's my pleasure, man. I'll tell you what, there's going to be a lot of people out there that are going to listen to what you have to say, and you're going to resonate with them. I mean, it really doesn't matter if they're mulling through the idea of doing what we do, or maybe they've done some real estate investing, but they're just not getting the kind of results that we talk about on the show. I think you have solutions for them that are going to be very helpful. So you ready to get into it?
Let's do it.
So tell me about what, I mean, I talked about that whole business world. I mean, were you literally working 70 plus hours a week? And, you know, back then, I think we all had BlackBerries. Did you have that thing attached to your hip?
Yeah, you know, my first mobile phone from the business world was a BlackBerry. And I thought it was cool. I had that little scrolly ball on it, but that was my first addiction, right?
Yeah, you know what that's called?
Crackberry, right?
Yeah, it's Crackberry. It's also called a leash.
Yeah, definitely it was a leash.
It is definitely a leash. I was the same way in the military. I thought, you know, at one point the military decided to go to those things, and all of a sudden I got one, and I thought, oh, this is going to make my life easier. Wrong.
No, it never stopped. They can get a hold of you throughout the night, in the evenings, family time, weekends. It never stops.
It never stops. So, I mean, you kind of got to a point where you said, okay, enough is enough. You got to do something different.
Yes.
So what'd you do?
We did. Well, life threw us a couple curveballs. I don't know if you want to get into that now, but that
sure.
Yeah. So, you know, I went to the college thing, got out. We wanted to start a business with some friends, and that didn't work out. So I took a corporate job. We moved to Dallas, and was working there for a bit. Also in supply chain. It was in the purchasing side, and we had our first child. And then we had our second child, and then We had our third child, and then my wife got sick. Life threw us a curveball. She was diagnosed with cancer. She was 27. I was 29. And we worked our way through that. But it was during that time period where I had to ask for time off of work to be with my family. And it wasn't just because, vacation. It was because of surgery. It was for treatments. It was for bad days. It was for doctor's appointments. I mean, being told you got cancer, that's one thing. Being told you can't take time off of work, that's another thing. And that was it. That was the real big click, life changer right there for me, where my wife and I sat down and said, we have to find a way where we can make an income and not be at the office.
So what'd you guys do?
We had found Lifestyles Unlimited in 2011, and the cancer thing came up in 2012 through 2014. So, when life got in the way, we decided we needed to focus on our health and didn't buy anything. And unfortunately, we missed a really, really strong buying period. But hey, hindsight's 20/20. You can always look back, but you can't replace it. So we started buying immediately after she was healthy. And that was in 2014. We came into Lifestyles Unlimited. We got the mentoring program, which is called the Challenge Program. It focuses on single-family houses. And my wife looked at me as we were signing the papers, and she said, you've got 30 days to make your first purchase. And 27 days later, we were inking a deal.
Wow. So I got to ask, why the switch to the Challenge Program? What was it about the Challenge Program that you found beneficial?
I had been looking at property since I was in college, and it was always something that said, nope, not going to do that deal. Nope, not going to do that deal. Nope, not going to do that deal. The Lifestyles Unlimited's Challenge Program gave you instant access to mentors. And, it's hard when you have a mentor say, if you're not going to buy it, I am, because it's a good deal. It's kind of like, maybe I'm doing something wrong. I just need to, dip my toe in and get the first one out of the way.
So you needed the ability to go fast, and you needed somebody to kick you in the butt and make sure you were doing what you needed to do. And that's a really good thing, Chris, because you took down that first deal. Now, when we come back from the break, we're going to talk about how he got up to 19 single-family houses. Stick around.
We're back with the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. We're here to answer your questions and help you become financially free.
Welcome back to the show. Hey, if you're just joining me, I have Chris joining me today. Chris is a highly, and when I say the word highly, I mean highly successful real estate investor. He made his mark buying, renovating, and then operating single-family properties. As a matter of fact, he built up a portfolio of 19 homes. Now, you might think that's probably like a ton of work. I mean, that's got to be a ton of work. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't we just ask Chris how he got from that first property way back in, I think you said 2014, Chris?
Yes, it was 2014.
Okay, so how did you put together a roadmap to get you to 19 single-family houses, and why that roadmap? What drew you in the direction of those single-family properties?
So, one of my biggest concerns in getting involved in real estate was there wasn't going to be enough deal flow. And as soon as I got involved with the right group, which for me was Lifestyles Unlimited, I found out that I was totally wrong. There's more deals than there will ever be money to buy. So we bought our first one. We went full cycle on that one, A to Z. We bought it. We went through the rehab. We decided that we were going to rent it ourselves. It was right at the end of 2014 over the holidays. And, everyone was telling me, oh, you're not going to be able to rent it because no one moves in the winter. And we had it leased out in 3 days because everyone was off work. So real estate's super counterintuitive. But, it ended up being a really great experience. We bought our second one a month later, And then we bought another one shortly after that, another one shortly after that, another one shortly after that. And then we went on a buying spree in we bought one about once every quarter through 2015, 2016. And then 2017, we went on a buying spree down in Houston. We had heard that cost out of pocket was a little bit lower, and we wanted to conserve our cash and get as many properties as we could. So we bought one in July, and then in August it got flooded by Harvey, and then we bought 4 more in the same neighborhood that had also been flooded during Harvey, but at huge discounts. So that really helped us go quicker. And we continue to buy. I bought one last November. I bought one not too long ago. I think it was March of this year. So we still do some single-family houses. Most of our acquisitions, though, at this point are multifamily, and it's a natural progression of a real estate investor. Single-family or stepping stones, multifamily are big leaps and jumps.
So what was the effect in 2017 of you buying all of this real estate? What happened in your personal life because of it?
You mean, why did we go on a buying spree?
No, why'd you tell corporate America, hey, it's been nice, it's been fun, but I'm done, son?
Oh, so in 2017. So I started buying in 2014. 2017, I walked away from my corporate job. So it took 3 years. Lifestyle teaches you if you do it right, if you follow the map, it'll take 2 to 5 years. And we were right there, smack dab in the middle at 3. So after 3 years, we'd replace my income. It was a mid-$100,000 job. I had the car and the package, the benefits, and all that good stuff. And we decided it was time. It was time to walk away. We'd replaced my income with passive income through passive investments and also through single-family homes, which are relatively passive. And, we wanted to live the lifestyle. We wanted to have the flexibility and freedom. The job was, it was a pain in the butt. I mean, we were coming up on the end of the year. And if you're so I was in supply chain, which was final mile delivery, and everything has to be done. Inventories have to be counted on December 30th or 31st. Books have to be closed, and the accounting team can't work on the books until the supply chain team was done with entering all the information in from the final sales. So it was just time. We wanted to have a good Christmas together. We wanted to have a nice New Year's, and the timing just worked out correctly.
Okay, so let me take you back a step real quick because there's something I need to ask you. People want to know this answer. So you've been working crazy hours. You've been dealing with health issues in your family, and your family is your focus. That is your number one priority. I know that. You've told me that before. How difficult was it for you to balance all these things, yet still balance the real estate investing? And that's got to be hard, man. How did you do that?
It's only as hard as you make it out to be. We wanted it. We wanted it bad. Our why, why we were doing this was extremely deep, and it was dear to us. I talked about my wife being sick. I also have 4 kids, and 2 of them have special needs. So, when life throws you a curveball, sometimes it's a sinker and a slider along with it.
Yeah, no kidding, huh?
Yeah, so, we were lucky to find real estate and understand how real estate works in our late 20s to early 30s. And we have to make sure that our kids are taken care of well beyond our lifespan. So that, it became a legacy thing. We have to take this small little bit that we have and blow it up into many millions of dollars just to make sure our kids are taken care of. And mind you, I only started with about $60,000. Okay, so I didn't come into this as a millionaire. I came in with a negative net worth and limited funds. So if there's folks out there that were just like me, I mean, you can be out of your job in 3 years.
Yeah,
maybe 5 years. And
so where was
you find what you look for, right?
Yeah, I agree. Where was the $60,000? Did you have that in one of those retirement accounts, or were you just hoarding cash? Where was that money at?
My wife and I are money nerds. We'd always been saving. It was just every month put $1,000-$2,000 away in the savings account and keep stocking it away. And that's where it came from.
Okay, so in 2017, how old were you?
Let's see, I was born in '83, so So I was 34.
Dude, I graduated high school in 82. You're killing me. But that's why I love you, Chris.
I'm very blessed. Again, I found real estate in my late 20s, and it was joining lifestyles that really made the difference and made me take that step towards purchasing. And the first one's the hardest. Once you get past the first one, it's like, hey, I can do this. I know the process now. You begin to form your processes and the procedures, and it's not Greek.
So I want the audience to resonate on that. You're 34 years of age. You have a beautiful family that have medical requirements. Those of us that understand what medical requirements are, we also know that there is a cost associated with, those medical requirements. So at the age of 34, you were done. You checked out of corporate America. You said so long. You didn't have a bump in your lifestyle because all of a sudden now your lifestyle, it's pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah.
You got all your control back.
Yes, definitely.
So we're going to go to break. Chris and I are going to kind of chat a little bit during the break because I get that opportunity to go one-on-one because I can do that. When we come back, we're going to talk about what he did with all those 19 houses and why. Stick around.
Welcome back to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show. Now, let's get back to your map to financial freedom.
Welcome back to the show. Okay, so let me set the stage for you. So Chris has been investing in real estate. I mean, he's been buying houses, and these are not the pretty little houses that maybe you like to look at on the internet. These are houses that are, they got some issues to them. I mean, they've got some problems. But Chris, he didn't care, because what Chris does is he buys these properties at wholesale pricing. He renovates the properties so that his all-in amount for that property acquisition is still at wholesale pricing. And that property, when it's all fixed up and he's found that great resident to live in it, will appraise for a higher number. And he knows this because he's done all the homework. He goes into the deal knowing what the deal will produce. And as a result of that, he not only captures a lot of equity in his properties, he also sets them up so they provide him cash flow. And it's that cash flow that Chris uses to get himself retired. Now, Chris, you and I both know you're also involved with apartments. I mean, you're investing passively with other Lifestyles Unlimited members, and you've actually syndicated your own deals. So tell me, what was the thought process of moving away from single family, which got you retired, and then moving some of your money into multifamily?
Yeah, so, if you listen to the show for any period of time, you know that there is a natural progression of a real estate investor, and that is you're going to outgrow single-family houses at some point to where you can't spend enough money on them. And that's, just coming in or not even being a member, that sounds wrong to say, but eventually you will. And we got to a point where we could not deploy enough of our funds in single-family to make it worth our time, so we started to move towards multifamily. And multifamily is a very different animal. It's a different, business model from single-family houses. In the fact that sometimes you can be the investor, the sole investor on it. Sometimes you can be a passive investor, and sometimes you can be a lead investor, which means you're putting the deals together. And we've been moving the money from the sale of our single-family homes, either into more single-family homes every now and again, or we move them into multifamily deals. And we've done the passive side, we've done the lead side, and we're currently looking for both lead and IRO, which is independent rental owner on multifamily. We're looking for that as well.
Okay. I happen to know that you have, over time, disposed of, and it doesn't mean we're throwing property away. I'm just saying what Chris has done is he has sold off 16 of those 19 homes. Now, he just told you he did that partially to fund other investments. So, Chris, can you get into the details as to why you would sell one single family home, harvest the capital, and then reinvest it? And how would you move that money into what?
Yeah. So, let me tell you the cycle of the first one we did. We bought it. It was in Mansfield, Texas, which is a suburb of Tarrant County, which is in, smashed between Dallas and Fort Worth. When we first bought it, we put in $30,000. When we sold it, we pulled out. It was upwards of like 90, 95, 97, something like that. And we went and we bought 3 more houses with it. It had been cash flowing about $400 a month for 4 years. But the market appreciation had grown what that investment was to the point where we needed to sell that property. We had to let go of what we had to grow. And when you take 1 and you turn it into 3, you start to understand Dell Walmsley's rules of investing. If you can't get rich slow, right? So we turned that about $90,000, and we made 100 to 300% equity capture on each of those 3 homes. And we doubled up on our cash flow on all of those homes. We're making now between $500 and $600 per month per house. So what was a good investment, right? It was making us $400 a month, turned into a great investment, right? Because it doubled. We'll just use round numbers, right? We took $100,000, made it into $200,000, and we took our cash flow at $400 a month, and then we started making, let's just say it was, equal $1,200 a month off of that same initial investment. Does that make sense? Am I doing that okay for the radio?
Yeah, you're spot on. So how long did you have to season that first house? How long did you hold it until you realized that, it was not doing as effectively for you as it possibly could?
We held it 4 years.
Okay. So in 4 years, one asset provided you income streams. It also provided you appreciation. It also provided you captured equity. You also got the benefit of principal pay down. And of course, you get all the tax advantages from the depreciation. So here's the question I got for you, Chris. You sold that first house.
1031 exchange.
That was the question.
Was that the question?
That was the question, yeah. So explain to me how you did that 1031 exchange and what it did for you.
Yeah, so really the 1031 exchange just is that when you sell a house, you have to go, when you sell an investment, you have to go buy more of the same investment or similar or like-kind investments, right? So we sold a house, we went and bought more houses. And instead of having to pay somewhere between 10 and 20% tax on our, let's just call it $100,000, instead of having $80,000 to play with, we had the full $100,000 to play with. So that's why we were able to continue buying more.
Yeah, a 1031 thing is a good thing. How difficult was it for you to actually execute it?
Oh, it was super simple. It's a matter of talking to an escrow or what do you call them, 1031 exchange companies, where they hold the money in escrow. So when I sold the house, we didn't get the check. It just went into a bank account that was managed by somebody else. And then when we found properties that we wanted to buy, I had to coordinate between the 1031 company, my agent, if I was using an agent, and the seller's agent or the seller themselves, where the funds were going to come from. I just had to give a couple days' notice. So it was very simple. There's some nuances that come with them that can make them a bit more of a pain in the butt. And with a tighter inventory market like we have right now, I see some people struggling a little bit by maybe they're being too picky or whatever, or maybe they're being too slow. Who knows? But 1031 is a great program. I know why it's out there, and it has its place. And for those that need to use it, go use it. For those that don't need to use it, just pay the tax and move on. Either way, real estate is still the very best vessel to make and build passive income and wealth.
Now, have you sold some properties and not 1031 them?
Yes, we've done that as well.
Okay, what was the strategy there? Why absorb the taxes?
So because of passive losses, we have it was worth it at that time, where we could just take the funds. I don't want to get too deep into that, but we have enough real estate at this point, being an industry professional, through the amount of properties that we've owned, our losses aren't capped, right? So we can take them all and still not feel the effects.
So what Chris is saying is he had built up enough write-offs based on his operation of real estate and everything that he has done that he was able to sell properties and have enough write-offs built up so that ultimately you didn't pay any tax, right?
Correct.
Okay, and that is a very, very good thing. So let me point out a couple things to you real quick about what Chris has been doing here. Chris has been doing everything he was taught. He is doing everything that we taught him at Lifestyles Unlimited. And I'll tell you what, he has been knocking it out of the park. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about where he's headed next, because I'll tell you what, Chris is not done making money for himself and the people he loves.
Warning. Listening to the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show will change your life. We will teach you how to create wealth and passive income so you can be financially free. And now, back to your host.
Welcome back to the show. So I know what's on your mind. What's on your mind is, okay, Chris bought all of these single-family properties. He got to a point where he had acquired 19 of them, and then he sold 16 of them off. So how's he live? I mean, if he sold off all these assets that have been producing cash flow for him, I mean, what is he going to the soup kitchen until he can get the money reinvested? Chris, are you at the soup kitchen?
We are not at the soup kitchen, no.
This is a good thing. All right.
Yeah. So we just reinvest the money. Again, some of it goes back into single-family houses. Most of it at this point is going into multifamily housing. And, a lot of that is in passive investments. So we don't do anything, but we get a quarterly check.
So you guys are doing fine financially. I mean, everything that you're doing does not have an impact on your lifestyle.
Oh, no.
Okay. Well, I should have asked it a different way, because it kind of sounded like, you could answer that. Yeah, actually, it does have an impact on my lifestyle because we're doing great. So I guess that's the point I'm really trying to get out, is that you have a strategy and you're orchestrating everything. I mean, you're not doing all the work in these properties. You have built a team around you, and you're the conductor, right?
I am the conductor. Yeah, I have built a team. I've got, really great contractors and subs. I've got a great real estate agent on my team. And, real estate's a team sport. It sounds cliche, probably because you hear it all the time on the radio from Lifestyles and our members, but it really is a team sport. And it's just a matter of finding the folks that you can work with. And there's no business like it, in my opinion.
No, I agree. I absolutely agree. And, it's a foreign concept to a lot of people because, we've all been conditioned that you have to be grinding away 8 to 10 hours a day, 5 to 7 days a week to be effective. But then once you start doing what we do and you start buying all of your time back, it's amazing. It is just amazing, isn't it?
It is. And I think that's one of the things a lot of people have a hard time getting over, is that we're conditioned to have to work to get money. And for those of us that are able to break the mold, you can prove them wrong. And that's why we want to go out and teach other people why they're wrong, because it's such a nicer lifestyle. It really is.
No, I agree 100% with you. I totally agree 100% with you. I think we need to let the audience know some additional information about you that I haven't disclosed yet. Are you okay if I share some of the things that you're doing on behalf of the Lifestyles Unlimited community?
Yes.
Okay, so Chris has actually been serving the Lifestyles Unlimited community as a single-family mentor. He's been doing that for multiple years, and he has been helping our members achieve the same kind of results that Chris has achieved. And that's what's so important about having a mentor on your team. That's why I talked ad nauseum on yesterday's show about mentors and the fact that that mentor needs to understand what it is you're trying to do so that they can give you the succinct advice that you need in order to get there, rather than go willy-nilly down the road, trying different things and having things blow up in your face. I mean, is that a fair assessment?
That's a fair assessment, yes.
Okay. So here's the other thing we need to share. Now, Chris, we've asked Chris if he would be interested in teaching all of our new members, as well as our existing members that want to come back for the educational content, how to do what we do. And what was your answer to that, Chris?
Yeah, very emphatic.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Here's the thing about Chris. I mean, he's being very polite right now, but this guy's got energy. This guy understands the model, and he will teach you everything you need to know, everything that I tell you that we will do for you. Chris is one of the guys that he doesn't have to do this, by the way. He does not have to do this. He is choosing to do this because Chris understands the fundamentals of helping other people. Thoughts, Chris?
Only that, Lifestyles gave me an opportunity a couple years ago to learn how to do this. They didn't have to, but they put together a program to be able to, teach people how to get out of corporate America, retire, people one person at a time, I think is the tagline for the radio show. And when I was able to step away, I was invited back because I had done it and had been very successful. I followed the map and I jumped at it. So yeah, for the last 3 years, I've been a mentor, and teaching other people how to be successful at this business is one of the most rewarding things that I've been able to do professionally. Actually seeing people change for the better. Most of us live a life of quiet desperation. You get up every day. You have to work for somebody else. You have to sit through the misery of corporate meetings, or have a boss that's breathing down your neck, or, maybe it's the 6 p.m. phone calls that you really just don't like because half of your business is on the West Coast, or they might be overseas. So, the world has been coming back alive. Maybe it's the travel and the brake lights and the hour commutes that you don't like. There's opportunities to get out of it and not have that threat there. Nobody can fire me at this point. And I love being able to say, nobody can fire you, Al.
I know. Dude, I'm going to steal that. Can I steal that from you? Because that is brilliant. I never rationalized that prior to this moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Please steal it.
Oh, man.
Nobody can fire me, right?
I know. Hey, let's get...
If I do something wrong, cool. Tell me. Something else I'll put out there. My dad is 65, and he plans on working another 5 years. I don't want that for myself. I don't want that for him. But he won't do real estate. But there's days where he loves his job in marketing, and there's days where he hates his job in marketing. There's days where I love what I do. There's days where I hate what I do. But the days where I hate what I do, I just don't do it. I do something else that I like, right?
Right.
If you have a job, you don't have that opportunity unless you can take vacation or a sick day. I just don't do it. So, it's things like that. It's truly the freedom of time.
So tell me about your lifestyle. I mean, what do you guys go out and do that you can do anytime you want now that maybe you were prohibited from doing when you were still in that corporate grind?
Yeah, so we travel a little bit. We just got back from a 10-day vacation in Idaho and Montana. We went out and saw family and fell in love, absolutely in love with Western Montana.
It's beautiful.
It is gorgeous up there. My wife's family is from southeastern Idaho. That's actually where my wife and I met at college in Rexburg, Idaho. And we get to go back up there every now and again. But I didn't have anything to worry about. I remember I used to travel with my computer all the time, and I'd have to check in on email just because I was afraid things were going to fall apart in my absence. or, I didn't want to miss that one crucial email from my boss. I didn't even take a computer this time. But I haven't taken a computer for the last 3 years, but, I haven't needed to. I've got a great team here that continued working on properties, on projects we've got and in process. And, vacations are true vacations.
How much time do you spend a week, focused on your real estate business?
We've got some rehab projects going on, so it's a little bit more than normal. It's probably somewhere between 8 and 20 hours a week right now. If we had everything rented, it would probably be at most 1 to 2 hours a month.
Wow. Okay, so let's see if we can sum up what's been going on in your world. So you started with $60,000. That was your seed capital. And you put that money to work for you. In the process, you acquired real estate that ultimately replaced your income and allowed you to step away from corporate America, which allowed you to focus more of your time on real estate. But in reality, you didn't spend much more time on real estate. You now own all of your time. And now you're in a place where you're doubling down, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me explain that a little bit better. That 1 or 2 hours a month, where some folks are out there going, "What? That's impossible." As a passive investor with Lifestyles Unlimited, you get 3 reports every month, and you get 1 phone call a quarter. So, how long does it take you to read an email and glance over a couple reports to make sure your properties are headed in the right direction?
Not too long. Yeah.
And on a single-family house, if I log in on the 3rd or the 2nd or the 5th of the month and make sure all the rents are in, and nobody has called me, what else is there to do?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And if something goes wrong at the property, they'll call me.
Hey, Chris, we're at the end of the show, man. I got to get a 2-hour show because I still have a lot of things I want to ask you. But I want to thank you so much for being with me today. If you want a guy like Chris teaching you how to do what Chris does, go to lifestylesunlimitedworkshop.com.
The Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show is for entertainment purposes only. Please consult a professional regarding your personal investment needs. Nothing presented on the Lifestyles Unlimited Real Estate Investor Radio Show constitutes an endorsement, recommendation, offer, or solicitation to buy or sell any product or security.